Injured, rough hands, messed up hair, and rageful eyes. One hated her whole life, hated her parents for dying at a young age, and leaving her at the mercy of her aunt and uncle. These people ruined her life, turned it into a living hell. Now, they wanted her to marry a man she didn't know, never heard of. Was he an old idiot like her uncle? Probably a pervert. Stop forcing me to abuse you. Get ready on time. Be of any use to us for raising you our whole life, said her uncle. Raising her? She practically grew up getting abused until the whole house chorus. Never went to school, all she did was to serve them. She laughed and spat in front of his feet and stormed back to her room, shutting off the door. She knew she was not courageous enough to run away. That one day she tried to, she ended up getting cornered by old men. It was a miracle she escaped. She could never think about running away again. She couldn't run away. She was going to turn this hell against those who were pushing her into it. Mine snapped out of her thoughts, sitting in front of a mirror, applying the cute shade of cherry lipstick that went along with some lip oil. She smiled. Ah, such a luck. The man she was supposed to marry was nice and, oh, handsome as well, making her task easier. He was a powerful and wicked man. He was dangerous and held such power that could blow away empires. A mafia, but he was nice with her. That was the plan, to make him fall for her and convince him to take revenge from her uncle and aunt. That was her life purpose now. Take it, princess. That's not what I asked for. He stopped midway. When his eyes fell on her, she dolled up the knife for him. Clearly seemed like it was working. Jungkook dropped the file in his hand and walked up to her, pulling her body against his. No matter how nice he was, those eyes of his were intense. They would make her shiver. His hot breath against her would make her melt, and his touch would burn in her skin. It was a plan. It was just a plan. This man wasn't supposed to affect her this much. JK, when you do this for me, how do you expect me to take it quietly, princess? She didn't know when she went from a maid to a princess of a mafia gang. But her life had turned so good since this man had walked into her life. Jungkook held onto her chin and placed his lips against her jaw. Mine's heartbeat went crazy. It was hard not to fall for this man. It was so hard sometimes. She wanted to scream. She closed her eyes, curling her fists against his coat as his kisses trailed down her cheek. Why, Jungkook, I, I, I still have to. JK, Still have to what? He tilted his head, his intense, strong eyes on her. She shook her head, completely forgetting any excuse she could throw his way. Jungkook smirked. JK, relax, princess. I won't eat you. He pulled back, letting her breathe. Wine pushed him, giving him a glare for teasing her, and Jungkook laughed. It was so unfair that he was this handsome, always messing with the strings of her heart with his face and moves. Wine, go away. Don't disturb me. She turned, picking up a random makeup brush, but Jungkook back hugged her, taking his face in the crook of her neck. JK, don't push me away, princess. I won't get in your way. Wine, what are you saying? JK, your way of taking revenge. Wine's heart had stopped beating in that moment. She instantly tried to reject, but what was the use? He had clearly seen through her. Fear flashed in her eyes before it got replaced with guilt. No one had ever treated her this good as he did, and she only used him. Wine, I'm sorry. He cut her off. JK, don't be. This is happening because I allowed it. So don't be sorry and use me as much as you want. I was waiting for you to ask me. You were taking so much time. I want you to get over this as soon as possible and move on. Wine, don't you hate me? I only try to use you and you still keep spoiling me. JK, won't you? Now let you use me however you like. I belong to a profession where I've seen too much evil. Your cute little plots can never hurt me. Wine elbowed him gently, pushing him away, and glared at him, getting him to laugh again. Jungkook grabbed the cord, putting it over her, and buttoned it up. Wine, where are we going? JK, to end everything. I want you to take your revenge in the worst way possible and move on. They have ruined your whole life, not allowing them to ruin your present as well. Wine was speechless. How could a man, a husband, feel like this? Finding out she was only willing to use him. That was basically betrayal. How could he possibly be fine with it? He held her hand and led her outside of their room to the lounge, and Wine saw her Uncle Thomas and Aunt Jane. After her marriage, 3 months ago, she saw them for the first time. But it was different. The vibes were different. There was something wrong with them. They were filled with injuries, fresh and old. They had wrinkles and dark circles, torn clothes, and slim figures as if they were not given enough food. Thomas, mine, my child, he cried, falling on his knees and proceeded to bow before her on the ground. Her aunt joined, and Wine's eyes widened up. Wine, what is going on? Jane, please stop this. I cannot take this anymore. Please ask your husband to stop this. Please forgive us. Wine, my child, please forgive us. We've raised you. Wine looked at Jungkook, clearly confused. Jungkook, I'll be working in a factory. Nothing much, just some double chorus, the amount you used to do. Some beatings when they slack and no food if they don't work. Thomas, what are you talking about? Take it. It's nothing you can't take for making a child work for like this. I knew there was something else, something even more cruel to it, but Jungkook didn't want her to know. It was alright. She was not curious to know either. The heads in her feet crying for mercy gave her all kind of relief. Somehow, the pain in her chest was finally gone. Wine, darling, can you please make sure they stay alive no matter what pain they go through? After all, they went through all the trouble of raising me. They deserve a long life, right? Thomas and Jane looked at her with fearful, teary eyes. Mine felt superior. She felt so powerful standing before them who tortured her whole life. It was all because of the man who stood beside her, the power he gave her. JK, of course, Princess. Come on, let's go back. You look all pretty like this. Don't want to waste your time on these people. Wine turned, and Jane held her leg, crying for mercy. Wine's eyes filled up with rage and disgust. She knew where her husband kept his gun. One swift motion, and she slid it out of his belt and placed it against her aunt's head. Wine, touch me again, and I'll blow you to pieces. I was trying to be nice. Hell with you both. You both ruined my life. I don't care what happens to you and him. You deserve it. Remember, it's not because of me. Life is making you pay for what you did. Go to hell. She pulled her leg and stormed inside. Wine, cars, throw them out. Jane and Thomas looked at her while she left. Tables had turned. The lion that grew up under their feet was now powerful, lived like a queen, had a powerful man and his whole empire in his palm of her hand. The lion now was untouchable, while they were getting tortured every day and were forced to work like a slave. Jake, did you not hear your queen? Take them back to their cells. Jane and Thomas screamed and cried for wine, but she never once turned around. Junko walked after Wine and she closed the room door. Once their voice finally died, she could breathe again. Wine, it's over. It's over. Her eyes teared up, and the first thing she did, she ran into his arms. Wine, I can't believe it's over. It was so hard. It was. So hard. He smiled, caressing her head. Ryan, I'm sorry for thinking I could use you like this. Well, you were already doing all this for me. But Jungkook never lied to you. Ryan, none of our moments were fake. Every emotion I showed you was true. You made it possible. There were too many times I wanted to kill them, but I could never live with it. You saved me. JK, all I have wanted was for you to rely on me. And I'm sorry for doing this without telling you. When I was done seeing you stuck in your past, I'm going to protect you, Wine, against this whole world. He cupped her cheeks and wiped her tears. He was proud of her for being strong. Taking her lips in between his, he sealed the promise of protecting her. And she sealed her promise of never hiding anything from him ever again.